And today we're going to try, just blue-white approach again. The bans have occurred, but there's honestly no white or blue cards that I want in the deck yet. There's some argument that if the format has enough aggro decks that I might want the 2 mana enchantment, but like as of right now I still think Meltdown's slightly better than it. It's really hard to tune a control deck until you know what you're going to be playing versus. So the only real changes that we've made from this list to the other lists are we added the 4th disallow to the main deck, which is amazing to me because the last builds we were playing had 0, and like these have just been going up and up. We added a 4th cat to the sideboard because I think the cats will be a more reliable sideboard condition now that I expect there to be considerably less Scarab Gods around. If we're going to get paired versus a bunch of mirrors, we're going to maybe want the Gideon back, and we're going to maybe want a 4th Rivulet. But we really just don't know what we're going to get paired versus right now. So to speak, somebody could call it the Wild West. Now we're going to jump into the match. We are playing a competitive league for those people who hate me. For those people who hate me. Ooh, let's go ahead and minimize that. And yes, we'll play first. We'll keep this hand. It's plenty good enough. It's basically got everything we want for an opening 7. We've got multiple counter spells. We can scribe this in matches that it appears like it won't be good. You know, like if our opponent just plays Eternal and Glacial Fortress or something, we know we can probably get rid of this. We already have an approach, which I'm actually, now that Teamer's going to be out of the format and there's going to be less blue spells, I believe I'm going to want, and there's less Rampaging Ferocidons, I believe I kind of just want to put the 4th approach back in the deck. New standard with the same deck. Bring it. Bring it. It sounds to me like everybody in the entire room is going to be playing this deck, so I'm just going to play Red Deck Win still. Actually going to cycle this versus a random blue-black. Don't want to miss the land drop versus a deck like that. Huh. My computer's making the sound that sounds like I'm dropping frames. So this is Grixis, and this is going to be probably one of the harder matches because they do have access to Lost Legacy, and they have plenty of other discard spells and things to make it resolve. And the Cats and Gearhulks aren't a quality sideboard win condition when we have to worry about Scarabs. How do you even see that? Good lord. You're better at checking out my stream than I am at checking out my stream. I have to counterspell that spell. It's one of the harder cards for us to beat. At least if they're playing any Chupacabras or anything, that they're not that good. I would not risk something like that, but if you're willing to pay enough, they'll do damn near about anything. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and use this spell. I guess we're going to get rid of that, and I'm certainly keeping my Search for Azcanta because it's my baby. It's my everything. It's my favorite card in Standard. I will not protect it. If he counterspells it, he counterspells it. I am not protecting it. Or am I? I could protect it. What's the best thing he can resolve next turn? A Scarab with 1 creature in the graveyard? That's actually pretty good. A Scarab with 1 creature in the graveyard is pretty good. Don't care. Still want my Search for Azcanta. We do get mail on Saturdays, yes, James. He might not even have the land, so I think it's definitely worth the risk there. Like, I overrate this card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to keep this one. So next turn with the opt, we'll be able to 100% flip the search. Hey, Heath, what's up, man? How you been? Yeah, I remember you. I remember your name from that day when you told me. Hope you're having a good one. Do I want this card? I think this card's actually fine. Pretty much putting anything in my graveyard at random here. Don't much care what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I'm just going to put it in at random. Flip our land, and I'm going to play the approach. Don't care if he resolves something afterwards or whatever. Don't care if he counterspells the approach either. This is game 1 of match 1, so have no idea yet. Game 1, match 1. It seems like it's going to be good in this format. Feels like it's going to be real solid in this format. Expect to pay through the nose. Keep a little reminder here so we can remember how far down our approach is. Because our opponent's going to have a lot of counter spells. Oh, whoops, I accidentally F6'd out of my turn. Wow. Or sorry, F2'd out of my turn. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, just come back up. We were playing Eternal beforehand, but now we've got access to this again, so... Alright, well, I guess if he's playing that type of deck, I'm just going to go ahead and play this. I want the lands more than I want random cards because we know where our actual approach is and we know we're not casting approach next turn. So I like the idea of doing this more. I'm certainly not protecting this. So we know we draw it next turn. So we're versus actual Grixis control. You know, the mill plan's generally my game plan in game 1 versus these decks. We are only down to 3 Rivulets in our main deck, though, but I'm still going to cast these and get the counterspells and stuff out of his hand. And by cast these, I mean I'm probably not going to bother to cast this for a while, because he seems like he's messed on lands anyway. So, like, I don't want him to just be able to resolve, like, a Gearhulk and counter it. But yeah, my game plan's typically to try to game 1 mill. I can't actually see these cards. But where our opponent was mana screwed this game, like, makes it a little bit harder to mill when they're not, like, cycling through their deck. Don't want either of these either. Actually, we'll keep the Essence Scatter because he's probably going to have a Gearhulk at some point. So right now I'm trying to get enough mana to play like, oh, we drew double Essence Scatter, that's fun. To play something like this. So like 12 mana's kind of to go right now. I won't take random cards with the Azcanta. I only take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I only take cards that I want. Like Azcanta's a May, so I'm basically only going to take cards that let me draw cards, or let me to try to fix my land. But I'm probably not going to try to Millstone him where he missed land drops earlier. Like, that's my typical game 1 plan, but that's probably not what I'm doing this game. See, like right here, I just don't want any of these cards, so I'm not going to take any of them. I'm not worried about drawing an extra card with the Censor. Like, we have all the cards that we want at this point. We do have the full 4 disallows in our main deck too, but we've already used 2 of them. So he uses 3 mana with that. We have extra Essence Scatters, so I think that's fine. And now I'm just going to try to draw a land this turn and then try to go for it. Yeah, I don't think I want to bother trying to knock him off blue right now. Just pretty much going to ask Kanta and Glimmer. I'm actually going to keep that now. Like, there's a good chance he has, like, Disallow plus Negate, and our Disallow plus Censor would beat that. I do have to keep an eye on the cards, though. Like, I can't go too far. Apparently I tapped 2 colorless, but whatever. It's not going to affect anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 3. Actually, just going to keep the Disallow. We'll keep them both. If somehow he survives this turn, we can just do it again next turn. Do want to land, but maybe I should have bottled them both because I really wanted to land here. But drawing a second approach is a lot like drawing a counterspell. It's like very similar to drawing a counterspell. It's like we have the same play pattern next turn. I wasn't willing to get rid of the cast out. I wanted to cast out just in case, like, I didn't hit the land or whatever. I wanted to keep this cast out because Scarab God could, like, still come down and win a game. Like say he had Disallow and Negate and I didn't draw my land, and then, like, the turn after that he untapped and played Scarab God, I could have been in some problems. And I only have 3 cast outs in my entire deck. I've already cycled 1, so I wanted to make sure I held on to this one. But yeah, I did mistap my lands. There was a colorless mana left over, and I was just too lazy to untap. But I should have definitely untapped, because, like, had I drawn another Censor, I would have cycled another Censor, for example. So, like, it was correct play for me to untap. Or it was correct play for me to untap and not leave that colorless mana floating. But, like I said, that was more of a lazy thing than anything. Alright, so he's definitely going to have Scarabs in his deck, which means I'm 100% taking the Torrential Gearhulk out of my deck. I'm also going to bring in basically my entire counter package here. Versus Scarab decks like that, I like to take out some number of these spells, and I like to take out all of these spells. For what it is on the last card that I take out, I've been cutting Censors lately, but I don't know if that's 100% right. When we have the 3 Essence Scatters, it's felt like I could get away with that because I'm typically wanting to tap out on 2 for a search anyway. But this is how I've mostly been sideboarding versus these Scarab God matches. But I definitely keep a lot. I keep 4 sweepers in. Sometimes I keep 5 sweepers in, which is like a ton and considered typically bad, but feels like it's fine. This hand's fine. Like, it's probably going to lose to a Glint Siphoner, but it's like good versus everything else. I have never felt like I needed a Memory. I think Memory's a good card, and if I was playing a version of the deck that had less than 3 approaches, I would want one, but I've not felt like I needed any in the 2-color build. Yeah, like I said, Glint Siphoner on 2 is going to be extremely hard for us to beat here, and one of the reasons that I've been considering playing the new White Enchantment over Effer Meltdown. But Effer Meltdown's still good versus, like, Heart of Kiran. It's still good versus, like, Glorybringers. It's good versus everything. Everything except for this card, and except for... There's one other card that's bad versus... Rampaging Ferostodon, and they banned Rampaging Ferostodon, so... It's also worse versus Beaumont Courier. I've had a lot of people tell me that Memory was the MVP for them. Kind of interesting. But yeah, the Glen on turn 2 is one of the hardest things for this particular build of the deck to beat. Meltdown stays on vehicles. That's one of the cool things about Meltdown. It stays on vehicles. Where most enchantments would fall off of it, after Meltdown does not fall off of it. So, I'm not worried about this card at all because we sideboarded out our... Torrential Gearhulks, and even if we just get a Search for Azcanta, that's plenty good enough. Yeah, no, I mean, the Meltdown does really, or sorry, the Memory is a really good card, but, like, he had to just misclick, right? Like, not drawing a card seems just wrong. Unless he's like planning on winning by some giant Whirler Virtuoso. Feels like that's just wrong if he's not. Opponent missed a land drop that turn as well. He has no counterspell in his graveyard though, so I'm just gonna go ahead and play this. If he has a Lost Legacy, he has a Lost Legacy. We'll just go on to game 3 and change our play pattern for game 3. I'm always willing to lose one game to Lost Legacy. I wonder what opponent has. Most people would counterspell the first approach unless they have a bunch. And most people counterspell the first one unless they just have a bunch of counterspells in their hand. He does have 3 cards in his hand. He's missing land drops, so could be anything. Think I'm willing to cycle this? Super happy we cycled that. It's not valuable in the fact that, like, it doesn't stop me from winning. It is valuable in the fact that you only have to stop 3 of them, sometimes 2 of them, to win the match. So it's like, how well are you at fighting? You know, like, so like now he knows I'm going to draw this one. He knows when I'm going to draw it, and like I can maybe force a fight and win with this one, whereas he could just get rid of it forever. I'm not going to put that in our graveyard. I'm just going to draw it. Probably messed up by not counterspelling this. I was honestly talking to chat, or I would snap negated that. He kept the card as well. Let me turn off that. I'm willing to counterspell that one. Pretty much going to put almost any card that's not a hard counterspell into my graveyard. I'm really bad at tapping lands today. So he's willing to negate that one? So that means he gets to flip this if he wants. Him flipping that's going to be hard for us to beat. I may have lost this game when I didn't negate the search. Like, I didn't think this game was losable, and I wasn't really paying attention, and I just didn't negate search, and I'm probably dead due to it. It'll be real hard to win now. Yep, I'll keep another counter spell. But that was just me playing real bad. Like, I know to counter it. Hell, I play 4 of the card for a reason. Man, I'm just gonna take 2. Like, I don't want to play the second approach. I'm 3 main one side. I don't really want to play the second. I don't really want to play this approach until I get another land. I want to at least try to protect it with a negate. What if it's ever worth disallowing a trigger like that? Now he's got a disallow, so I'm probably going to need multiple counter spells. Just going to take the damage. Oh wow, he's attacking with that many of them? Alright, well. This might be his way of saying he wants to fight a counterspell war? Who knows? Nope. I guess not. But yeah, I believe I lost this game when I let this resolve. Wouldn't mind to draw an untapped land so we can at least go for it, though. Yeah, so now we get to start working on our search at least. I kind of really want to draw that. I don't think it really does anything. It's a good chance he has double counterspell, but we're going to make him show him to him. Yeah, we do, because he's got that artifact. There's a chance he doesn't have a counterspell, but I mean, the odds of him having a counterspell are very high. Yeah, that's pretty nice, but you could just, like, have the 4th approach in your deck then, right? Yeah, I definitely lost this game when I just, like, ignored Search for Azcanta. I'm like, oh, you got a Search for Azcanta? Well, who cares? That was super bad of me. It was definitely super bad of me. And we have a second disallow. We've not definitely lost this game either. Like, we have things we can do to win this game. So we know he doesn't have that at the moment. So he missed again. Might be thinking about the mill and just like not taking removal or whatever. Wonder if I don't really want to rivulet myself right now. I don't want to set myself back on a land. Actually, screw it. I am going to rivulet myself. Get the land back with Search for Azcanta. So anything at all goes into my graveyard. Right? Oh, wow. We're not getting rid of that either. So you're saying there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance, team. Yeah, it's good to note that they found a mountain, so they definitely have basics. He only attacked with 2 creatures that turn. He only attacked with 2 creatures the turn. Now that card's playable. Like, I'm not saying that card's bad or anything. I just don't know if I need it. Like, if I play Esper, if I ever decide to go towards Esper, that's certainly a card that I'm going to definitely explore. So we're down to 9. I'm just going to take the Opt. Feel like we're going to be able to resolve an approach if we get it. Not super worried about my life total. I am a little worried about him like playing Nicol Bolas and just killing us with the Nicol Bolas. Man, I can't afford to go to Pikeville, much less Grand Prix Memphis. Would be a fun time though, I'm sure. I'm unemployed and have no money, but would definitely be fun. Bay Street have to up their prize support a whole lot for me to be able to afford that. Like how we drew our 1-up Field of Runes and still have a chance. Alright, we'll take the negate. Just like firing up on our counterspell mana now. Elvis is going to be there. Love it. What is this? Is this a... Alright, we don't care about Harness Lightning. Oh, he's gonna do the bite back thing? I'm gonna disallow the crap out of that. Pretty positive I'm gonna disallow the crap out of this. Stops damn near all of his mana too. Get out of here, 4/4. Well, this was a fun turn. We did a lot of things this turn. Huh? I'm taking this one. Unemployment's paying you well. Well, the odds that he hits another counterspell are very, very high now. Argument that I could have took the cast out there. I probably should have took the cast out there. Let's start with this. I guess we'll take this one. But they've showed us Supreme Wills, but they've played 3 negates and 1 disallows, all they've showed us. So this is like a quick Nicol Bolas and we're just dead. Oh, it's not a quick Nicol Bolas. Nice. Not just dead. Certainly not in good shape at this point, but we're not just dead. The disallow on top of our library. Nicol Bolas kills the crap out of me. They could have a bunch exiled. I honestly haven't been paying enough attention this game. They've only got the 1 disallow. Yeah, it's still just the 1 disallow. So they could have. There was a Supreme Will under exiled though, but there's only the one. There's only the 1 disallow that's been played, and there's a good chance that they have 4. Good chance that they have 4. Wait, what is this? Second main phase and now playing... Oh, another search? Sure. So, how much land do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13. So, 10. So, we have enough, right? Yeah. We have enough to play Search for Azcanta and a Disallow. Or, sorry, a Settle and a Disallow. Or an Approach and a Disallow. I'll spit it out. But we know where our other approach is now. Probably don't get much of a better chance for it than this then. Seems like he's conceding because it's not letting me move. Alright, so I guess whatever disallows he had were in the bottom like 9 cards or 10 cards or 12 cards or whatever the heck amount of cards he had. He was down to, keep in mind he was down to 14 cards, so he's down to 10 cards of this, so like we were pretty close to being able to mill him. Like if we drew a second Rivulet, we probably did just mill him. That's something I wasn't really talking about there. Yeah, I played that game very sloppily. I'll try to play this game more. It's kind of hard to focus while talking and playing. And I've not ate today, which isn't your guys' fault, but it is my fault. I played that game miserable, though. Like, that game should not have been close, and the way we played it, he had outs to draw like Nicol Bolas or like lots of things that game. But I played that game about as bad as a man can play it. Yeah, I definitely, him throwing 2 negates there was pretty bad, I think. Anyway, so we'll play first. I'm not keeping this hand. Yeah, I'm not keeping this hand. We'll keep this hand. It's good enough. Especially for a game 1. This hand might not be good enough in a sideboarded game, but it's definitely good enough in a game 1. Put Settle on the bottom. I almost F6 my turn 1. Oh wow, I'm just absolutely out of it. Absolutely out of it. I need to get better ops for my deck, I think. Don't hate drawing an approach. Another random blue base deck. Probably the mirror. Let's start with the opt and then decide whether we want to cycle to cast out. Think I'll put that on top. Then I think I'll actually cycle to. The hand's not great for the mirror, but that's okay. Somebody wanted me to try the new Mythic, the like Sphinx's Revelation Mythic in the mirror, for like mirrors and stuff, but I don't know that I'm sold on that card. Like how I kept a double blue spell when I don't have double blue mana, but I feel like we have enough turns to get to double blue mana that it's fine. I would rather try to hit my land than worry about trying to hit like a Glimmer or something. I probably wouldn't counterspell a Glimmer anyway. He has to have a non-basic land before we can do that. Like, this only targets non-basic lands, so like if he doesn't play a non-basic land, we can't even consider that. Hieroglyphic Illumination, so they're probably Drakes then, which is real bad for us, especially considering we've already missed a land. Looks like they're missing a land too, though, so I guess at least it's even in that regard. I just censor this, so I'm going to pass. I would be more apt to play this card versus Dimir than versus Drake's. And if they use a real counterspell on it, that's not that bad for us. That's not great for us. Alright. Find us lands, friend. Definitely putting that on the bottom. I think it's safe to put the Glimmer on top. The odds of us seeing a land are fairly high. JK, no land. Alright, do your worst, opponent. Alright, this game's going to be a struggle the entire time. They actually put a hard counterspell in their graveyard. Wow. They have to have a cast out if they're doing that, right? Or like an abandoned sarcophagus? It's like nothing else makes sense. Yeah, we'll flip ours too, then. Alright, well this game has just now become weird. It's kind of unfortunate for us that his abandoned sarcophagus was in his top 20. We've played one round so far versus Grixis, and it was as expected. We beat it fairly easily. But, this round looks like it's going to be a lot harder, but both us and our opponent were both missing mana drops early, so. Looking for lands now instead of a random card, which is why I'm playing the Glimmer. Okay. Don't care a lot about that. Care considerably more about it when I untap and miss my land. He has to have a lot of counterspells if he's doing something like that. Just a lot. Don't think he would do that if he didn't have a bunch. I should probably take the time to kill his Azcanta. He just gets this one next turn, though, if we do. Yeah, he just gets that one next turn if we do. I'm not going to bother. This will take the disallow. Actually just want to cast the first one of these. I don't really care if it resolves, but he's not showed us a Drakehaven to this point, and I want to put him in a spot where that maybe there's a chance that we can just deal with every Drakehaven and win. I don't care if this approach resolves. Like, we have the backup kill conditions of our 3 Rivulets and just like stopping his Drakehavens. And if we get, once we cast the first one, like, if there's like some like random counterspell war on his turn or whatever, there's always a chance that we can win. We're clearly not in good shape here either, which is another reason that I'd make a play, or making a play like this. Because like if he just untaps and plays Drake, we're in super bad spot. Like just a super bad spot if he untaps and plays Drake. gonna cast another one of these. There's some chance that he doesn't have a counter spell, and like I said, we're really far behind right now. I feel like we're like super far behind. He doesn't have to have another countervailing winds right now. This is the one turn that he couldn't do that for. Alright, well he's got double sensors, so that sucks. But at least he didn't have the countervailing wind, I guess, so that means we have another chance if we draw another one. Never mind, just drew countervailing wind, so disappointing. Alright, well this game definitely changes for us then. Just looking for a land here. Wait, he put it in the graveyard? Oh wow, he did put it in the graveyard. I didn't catch that. I thought I wasn't paying attention and thought that was from Search for Azcanta. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention at all. Oh my god. Good catch. I thought that was from Search for Azcanta that he revealed it. Whew, mind blown. Actually, I'm kind of mind blown about that. That's two of his countervailing winds gone? I think opponents not played Drakes before. Legitimately can't imagine another card that you would take over that. Don't care how many of this stuff he gets this turn. Alright, so this one's an Azcanta. Or sorry, this one was the Azcanta activation. Opponents, this is a pretty terrible match for us, though. He discarded a Hieroglyphic Illumination earlier that got exiled by the Abandoned Sarcophagus, so like, you would think he would know? At this point? So this gets us an approach. JK. Pretty sure I'm just going to cast this approach. Like, there's some chance he doesn't have the countervailing wind, right? I don't know, maybe my life total's high enough that I don't want to. Because we can't pay for the Censor this turn, so like maybe we want to wait. Maybe I just want to cast Fumigate. I think I just want to cast Fumigate. He doesn't need two because he's got the Censor. So like he can cycle this and then pay for this and he gets the approach. So if he just has a countervailing winds, we lose. If he doesn't have a countervailing winds, we lose or win because he doesn't have mana to go for it. I'm just gonna play safer, I think. I'm just gonna play safer here. Maybe I'll try to get a cast out or something for the Abandoned Sarcophagus. I'm not sure. he didn't have the sensor, it'd be a lot easier decision. He has gone through almost all of his deck. Like, keep in mind that he's gone through over 20 cards. With the Search for Azcanta activations, he's gone through more than 20 cards. Like, a lot more than 20 cards. So the odds of him having both countervailing winds are actually pretty decent. Like, mathematically, he's definitely probably got one of them. If we draw a cast out or something and go after this Drakehaven, there's a chance that we can just mill him. Like, we don't have to beat him, right? He's down to 17 cards. I'm going to play this because I want the lands more than a random card. So, like, lands, cast out, and approaches are the only things I would keep right now. I do think the play pattern for this next turn is kind of cool. Because he has to make his decisions before we have to make our decisions. With, like, the cast out. If he goes too deep on cards here, too, there's a chance that we can just, like, fumigate and get back in the game. Hey, I'm playing this deck as well. I have changed nothing from Rivals yet. I love how you called it expansion, by the way. That makes me smile. So we have a lot of blue sources, so like even if he has Shefet Dunes, we can try to fight that. He's down to 13 cards. Like, he saw his whole deck at this point, so he's definitely got the countervailing winds. I guess we're just going to take this 12. Definitely don't know if I played this game as well as I could have. Another Drakehaven. I feel like I have to try to counterspell that because it kind of defeats what I've been going for. We have 3 Essence Scatters and 3 Disallows, and then sorry, we have 4 Disallows now. Sorry, this version has the 4th Disallow. I forgot about that. I could be getting anything with this one. Let's go ahead and get this Drakehaven. Actually going to go ahead and use this now too. Like, I don't care if he uses a cast out and he's already got 3 of them in his graveyard. He could not have the full 4, or he could not have bothered to draw it. Get another Disallow. So we have 4 Disallows now. But basically we're getting ready to fight over a spell that if it doesn't resolve, we lose the game. Just like lose the game on the spot if this doesn't resolve. We do have 2 hard counter spells and can pay for a Censor, though. If you type !mark deck list, you can see the deck list we're currently playing. So he's just paid 3 mana for that one. So like, no problemo, 3 mana paid. Alright. All of his Censors are gone, so there's only 1 more countervailing wind in his deck. Oh, he's got two sensors in his graveyard. I'm an idiot. All right, well, we just lose. I wasn't paying enough attention to see that he had two sensors in his graveyard. For some reason, I thought this was his graveyard. Alright, so we just lost. I played that game miserably bad, though. Honestly, played that game just horrible. I played that game about as bad as I could play. I don't know that I played that game that bad, to be honest. I could have played that game fine. I think we were just in a bad shape from a very early point in the game where we missed that land. I feel like we've been behind the whole game from when we missed that land. I mean, it could have been. It definitely could have been. But then we could have we only had 7 life, so like it didn't take much to kill us if that happened. You definitely could be right though. You could definitely be right. In these matches, I typically don't like our sensors. I sideboard out sensors a lot these days when I probably shouldn't. Yeah, I definitely think that I probably messed that up. Snap keeping this hand. I think ops are a little bit better at ensuring you get land drops when you think the most you're going to do with the sensors is cycle anyway. Like I think 9 out of 10 times I cast a sensor at cycle or for the cycle in these matches. But that could be wrong. So we're going to like actively put cards in our graveyard and hope that he doesn't have a sensor, or so hope that he doesn't have his own search. Because if he has his own search, then it comes down to just who has better lands. So we have to put that in the graveyard. It's not a land. Just not going to have lands 2 games in a row, it looks like. Still had a chance to win last game. Even with missing out on land drops, but I played bad, so go me. Definitely gonna focus more. Yeah, whatever. Don't really want to fumigate. It's not a land. Pretty much don't want anything that's not a land here. Left his Renewed Fates in this match. That's something I've never did. Don't care if he censors and or counterspells this Glimmer. Nope, I'm going to keep all my lands even though that puts us a turn away from flipping it. We're heading to clock if that counts for anything. We're ahead on flipping search as well. We have 2 counterspells already in our hand. If he counterspells this, that's great. I don't care. Would care if he like cast a cast out on this, but don't care about the Glimmer at all. Sure, put it in the graveyard, save the mana. So next turn we can definitely flip search. And maybe find out a cast out or binding for his before he gets his flipped. That would be swell. He put a negate in his graveyard. What in the world is in his hand that allows him to put a negate in his graveyard? That is some scary stuff. I'm actually just not willing to put this binding in my graveyard. I think the binding's too strong. I'm even gonna cast it. I would fight over this card. If he kills it, we get to flip the search for Azcanta next turn anyway, or if he like makes us use a counterspell. Yeah, I'm willing to negate that, I think. Can't imagine him casting anything I care about. Like, I don't even care about a Drakehaven. The only thing I care about at all, like, I would care about Regal Caracal. Because Regal Caracal ends the game in 3 turns. We are testing no new cards from Approach right now. It's really hard to, like, try to, fix, or try to, tune a control deck when we don't exactly know what the meta is. And with today's new changes to the format, with the bans, like, it's really hard to, like, assess where the meta's going to end up, so we're just, like, trying to get some reps under our belt. Yeah, he can have that. I've felt in the past that blue-white is better than Esper Approach, but as I just mentioned... no, he used it on our search for Azcanta. And then we just drew a circuit. He used it on our first search for Azcanta. So, like, the format's changed. Maybe Esper's better now. No idea. So he's still got 3 cards in his hand, but we got the flip search. Rivulet in my graveyard? I typically don't want to, but... let's go play the cat. Cat can actually end games pretty quick. Like I was just saying, the cat can end the game in 3 turns. So, like, I'm willing to tap out for 1 turn to see if the cat can do his, like, you know, cat scratch fevering. That's a Drakehaven, so that was kind of like the worst case there, but he didn't have it the turn before, so I thought it was definitely worth the risk. He didn't have a counterspell the turn before either, so that means he shouldn't have a counterspell this turn. So hopefully he doesn't have double cycle here. Right, nice. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. Fine with that. My cats don't really get any better now that he has a Drakehaven in play. In fact, my cats get actively worse now that he has a Drakehaven in play. Gearhulk. What do we have in our graveyard right now? Well, we got a bunch of Glimmers. Let's just attack with this one. I've put a little thought into Baffling End and Azure, and if the format changes from what it is, like, we may go to Baffling End. I have no idea what a Nizal is. I have no idea what the first card is. As for the Lawbringer, I think the Lawbringers win more. Like, I'm pretty sure the only time I ever draw cards with the Lawbringer are games that I've already won. But that may not be right. I kind of feel like it only happens on games I've already won. Oh, that was horribly bad luck for us. Because he certainly didn't have that beforehand. He's let too many spells resolve to have that beforehand. Let's look at our 4 cards and see if we can find a cast out. Because this is going to determine very highly on what our odds are of winning this game. And our odds just went down absolutely drastically now. Yeah, our odds just went down super drastically. Thought we were in good shape, but we are not in good shape. I'll keep one of them, because he's only got 1 counterspell so far. So I'm just going to keep both of them. I'm going to make him fight that war instead. Let's look at it. Discard 3 cards. Yeah, this card's kind of interesting. I thought it was good when I thought you could use the ability all the time, but then I realized that you could only use the ability some of the times, and I thought it got a lot worse. I'm not a big fan of that card. Yeah, he's got a. Definitely has triple sensor and a countervailing winds as well. Just gonna cast these. This is our best chance to win at this point. He's got 3 sensors and 1 countervailing winds, but I'm just hoping that he messes up and taps in a bad manner. Like, I don't think we have very good odds of winning this game. Like, he was too far ahead when he got their Abandoned Sarcophagus out. It basically gave him an entire graveyard to mess around with. So that our Abandoned Sarcophagus was basically like draw like 9 cards or whatever. It's pretty close to impossible to beat. This is why this match is like absolutely miserable. Like it's a horrible match. I could have attacked for 3 there, but we're just not winning this game by attacking anymore. And like things are just going to get compounded exponentially from here. Like he'll be able to find another counterspell before we really get going or anything. Alright, well that gives us some counterplay to this. Maybe we can hit their Abandoned Sarcophagus. We're super far behind, of course. And he discarded a negate years ago. Which has scared me the whole game. We'll go ahead and use the cast out now. So you got a renewed fate. So this is going to resolve at least. We will take their Abandoned Sarcophagus this time. So we have enough mana to play an approach and a negate next turn. So as long as he doesn't have double counterspell, this works out pretty well. If we draw a land, we can at least pay for a sensor. I don't know if it's worth using this right now. Like, I'm pretty afraid of him just having a cast out, but I guess if he has a cast out, he's just going to use it next turn anyway, right? So we know we're drawing approach. Yeah, alright, well, we just lose. I couldn't really beat that. Because he still has enough mana to, like, do that in response when we play the approach. I guess there's some miracle world where the only counterspell he has is the one countervailing winds in his graveyard, and then we have a chance. But like that's a pretty far-fetched world. Yeah, this is like right off the bat, that was a pretty far-fetched world. I guess I'll let him get it with the sensor. I kind of have to let him censor this, because if I don't let him censor this, next turn we just lose to, so like if we make him use countervailing winds this turn because we use the negate, next turn we draw approach, and play our disallow, and we just die. But he had the negate, and the odds of him having the negate were real high, especially with the Azcanta there. But we do have one more turn. If he has absolutely nothing, there's some chance. He's only got the one counter spell that we know about, and we knew we were drawing our approach. We can beat one counter spell. Can't beat two. I think we played the best we possibly can. This card right here is just the mirror break, or just the match decider here. He's got two cards in hand. If either of them are a counterspell, we lose. Looks like it's a Gear Hulk, so we just lose. Gear Hulk into negate, and that's game. Tapped 4 mana, so can't imagine. Maybe he was thinking about using a hieroglyphic illumination, but that's just worse than playing Azcanta. All right. Well, we have some chance that he misses. Some chance that he misses. We're not playing Fragmentize in the sideboard. We're playing additional Ixalan's Bindings. All right. So he got something he can cycle. So he has one more chance. So basically, he's got a number of outs, and he's got one chance to get it, and maybe he can get a redraw. Tap 2 white. Alright, so he's redrawing. Now he's just redrawing to negates, and he's already gone through multiple negates. So the odds are heavily in our favor now for this game. Heavily in our favor for this game. Alright, we got there. Didn't expect to get there. Like, this card's just that good. I mean, we have 5 ways to answer it, but like, it's just really hard to win the wars because you have to fight so many things, and like all of our answers for this card, he can just answer later in the game. And the second this resolves, even if it resolves for a turn, like say we had Fragmentize, right? Like the second he resolves his Urbana Sarcophagus, it's like draw 9. He's got access to all of those counter spells and stuff to protect from a Fragmentize. And Fragmentize is bad versus basically every other deck in the format other than this deck. So like, if Drake's is more popular, cards like probably not Fragmentize, probably the one that cycles. What's the one that cycles called? I think he cast one, didn't he? We'd probably play this because we can cycle it in situations where it's bad. But if Drakehaven gets more popular, like we would levitate to trying to play some number of cards like this. Alright, so our opponent has showed us that he didn't play a single creature in a fairly long game, so I don't think I want these anymore. I think I'm just going to try to like clear up the board. He's only got 7 minutes to win. He only has 7 minutes to win. I'm pretty sure I'm just bringing back in my Settles and my Fumigates and like trying to keep him off lethal attacks. Also not sure that I actually want this Essence Scatter anymore, even though I'm confident that he's got Gearhulks in his deck. Like, I'm confident he has Gearhulks in his deck. But feels like drawing that at the right time might be too hard. I think I'm just going to bring back in the Censor. I'm actually shocked that we won that game. We felt so far behind. Opponent has like 7 minutes left, so he might have to make some hasty decisions. This hand's terrible, 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 terrible. Can I keep this hand? I don't think so, but I don't really want to mulligan. I don't like mulliganing. Well, this hand's considerably better. It's also not good, but it's considerably better. Gotta keep a land. This is round 2. We are 1-0, and this match is 1-1, and it's a pretty bad match for us. We are in a league. So we probably have to cycle to cast out here. Actually, I'm just not going to... I'm going to take one draw step before we cycle to cast out. If we hit our land, we'll probably just keep the cast out. Alright, we hit our land, so we're probably just going to keep the cast out based on there being 6 minutes left in the game. I played versus Grixis Control round 1. Just classic Grixis Control. He had some Glint Siphoners in his deck, and he had some Whirler Virtuosos, at least post-board. He showed us those cards, but he didn't really do anything but play a bunch of counter spells for the most part both games. So we have all of our land drops here. I'm going to wait until I can protect that with a counter spell. Like, I don't want to just play that and it get negated. I want to play it in a spot where we can try to protect it. So basically, I want to draw another blue mana. There's an argument that I could have played Field of Runes to try to fix my blue mana, but he's already showed us Nimble Attritionist, or Obtritionist, or whatever it's called. So, like, I don't want to open ourselves up to getting, like, blown out on a land like that. I'm absolutely fine if I lose, or if I win a counterspell war here and then he like throws a cast out on this during his next turn, because we have the bindings and the cast outs during our turn. So he wants me to pay 3 mana. I'll 100% pay 3 mana because I have no idea what he can resolve that I care about. He also has Spell Pierce. That would be a slap in the face, but I assume he's just going to play a Binding or a Cast Out or like a Drakehaven or something. And I'm not worried about him really doing any of those things. We will not put the island in our graveyard. Go ahead and draw a card, play a land, and then we're going to play an Ixalan's Binding with negate backup for his Drakehaven. Now he could have his own cast outs here, but like we get to try to cast out his cast out if that happens. Yo, no, I would love to binding his cast out. So that was an Abandoned Sarcophagus, but he has nothing in his graveyard that's relevant as of yet, and we still have another Glacial Fortress, you say? I don't think I'm going to put that in the graveyard. No, I think I'm going to keep that one too. don't want him to untap and draw 2 cards, so I'm just going to go ahead and play this. It sucks in the manner that now if he has a cast out, he gets whatever he wants back. But we will pay for the censor. Oh wow, he didn't even censor it. I would have almost snap censored that. It's not over. It's not over at all. Like, all he has to do is resolve a cast out, or he could just draw like Regal Caracol and have a counterspell. Like, all of those things are pretty good for him. We're obviously in a favored spot, but like, the game's not over. I could also play slowly enough that he wins with the clock. This additional cast out, by the way, is huge enough that I'm actually going to cast Approach, because I don't really care what he does now. Like, the next turn we have the Disallow plus cast out to try to fight it. But there's a good chance he's going to cast a cast out this turn. Just like a really good chance. Don't know which one he'll get back. Alright, he'll get back that one. That's fine. Yeah, the cast out was a great draw. That's the only reason I tapped out. I would not have tapped out had we not drawn the cast out. Glimmer in my graveyard? I actually think I will put a Glimmer in my graveyard. I think I will put a Glimmer in my graveyard. No, I won't. I'm gonna keep it. That's my Glimmer. And this Glimmer is mine. So we know our thing's 6 cards down. So we're going to try to cast out his other Abandoned Sarcophagus. He's probably going to use the Hieroglyphic Illumination out of his graveyard this turn. It's whatever. He's back up to 6 cards though, which is a lot. He hit a land drop that time. Fumigate's definitely going to our grave. And then we're drawing a card, so we know it's 4 cards down. So we know if the Glimmer resolves, we can draw to Approach if we feel like it. But we don't really have to at this point. He's down to 4 minutes and 30 seconds. We can just keep playing this controlling game. He can draw 2 cards. Not worried about him drawing 2 cards. We'll probably draw our Approach now. Depends on what cards we see, I guess. I kind of actually want both of these. Or, sorry, not both of these. I don't think I want either of these, actually. So we know we're going to draw to Approach then. And we got another cast out? Wow. Settle the wreckage to the graveyard. Alright. We're not going to bother to play Approach right now. He's only got 4 minutes left. We're just going to try to play fast at this point. And we'll... At some point, he's going to have to go crazy. And, like, tap a bunch of mana. Probably during his main phase. And that's when we'll try to Approach. Could cycle to cast out and guaranteed flip Dascanta, but I don't think there's any reason for us to do something like that. Actually, don't really want to put a land in my graveyard either, but I guess I will. There's still a chance that we can draw the land. It's another Approach. That gives us a lot more opportunity to win, because that's like basically another counterspell. But we're not going to tap out anytime soon. Like, that would come... We would only do that in a spot of the game where, like we were in serious trouble. Sure, there's no guarantee that we're ever going to get in a spot where we're in serious trouble. Feels like the way he was playing just then that he had another cast out, but... So, any card... Put another Approach in my graveyard? No, I'm going to keep it too. At some point, we're just going to play 3 approaches on him. If we need to. Like, we don't necessarily ever need to. But if we do... I feel like I need to start removing draw steps and stuff. So he'll probably have a counterspell for this. And then, in that case, we get to cast out at the end of his turn. So how much mana do I have to pay? I have to pay a bunch. Well, I just don't have a bunch, so... Your abandoned sarcophagus resolves. So our cast out resolves... Unless he just wants to lose. Okay, I guess he could have like double negate or something. Don't have anything else to do with our mana. I may just play approach 3 turns in a row now. If I hit a land, I definitely... Okay, I definitely won't since I drew something that was actually playable. Still about a minute ahead of him. And we have a Settle to Wreckage. So, like, we have a bunch of must counterspell cards. I think I would rather play this than a random card. Take the Disallow. Any order. I really just want to draw lands. I think at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, it's actually hard to lose this game unless I manage to lose it to the clock. Which is always possible considering I play with about 5 billion steps. Alright. I said any order. Might have to stop using the Search for Azcanta just so that we don't risk milling ourselves, or sorry, risk timing ourselves out. Yeah, I play with a lot of stops. Whatever. I actually need that stop, but... We'll counterspell. If he has a counterspell for this, we'll try to play the Gearhulk and counterspell for that as well. Alright, so... Sure. Alright, so he's finally gotten our abandoned sarcophagus back. He has a cast out in his graveyard, so that's actually bad for us as well. He's going to play the cast out of his graveyard, get his Drakehaven back. He's got multiple countervailing winds in his graveyard. He literally has 3. He literally has 3 countervailing winds in his graveyard. Let's start burning through them. Actually, let's just not. Let's wait until next turn. That way we can also use Search for Azcanta. So, we just got to the point of this game where we're very likely beat. I guess we'll take the Fumigate. But he's got to do it in a minute and 40 seconds. It's actually kind of easy for him to do, to be 100% honest. Like, it's not even hard for him to do that from here. Not even hard for him to do that from here. I could win this game in a minute and 20 seconds from his side of the clock, even with my stops. I probably won't do it this turn, but I will probably do it next turn with the settle, that is. Then untap and fumigate. I'm gonna cast the Glimmer over the Azcanta. Like, actually I can't really, because he's got a sensor in his graveyard. Oh, a third Drakehaven? Alright, well we're dead AF, fam. We are dead AF, fam. Disallow's actually kind of good here. Really want to land. That's not a land. Disallow's very good there, though. Yeah, the 1 minute's pretty legit for him. I don't really want to win that way, but I'm willing to attempt to win that way. He got a negate there. Wait, I didn't hit F6. Oh, it's because we were in the end step. Alright, I made a misplay because we took our steps out. That misplay could actually cost us the game. Cost us the game pretty hard, even. Like, pretty much definitely lost because of that. Still has one more countervailing winds. We find a negate here we've not just lost. Oh, a second fumigate's pretty nice too. So this being in play is just brutal. Oh, he's got another negate. All right, so we actually lost the time, or so we like literally just lost. He had it all. So he's still got a countervailing wind in his graveyard. He just untaps and kills us. Gonna concede. I guess I'm not gonna concede. I didn't have enough time. But we lost we lost. We lost with 0 seconds on the clock because we played poorly. Had we played that properly, well, we definitely didn't think we could lose that game. I'm not exactly sure what I did wrong. Well, 100% had we cast that spell, he would, or had we used the one thing, he would have timed out. What else did we do wrong that game? I'm not sure what we did wrong that game. Maybe we should have started casting approaches earlier. I'd have to go back and look at that game. I'm gonna put all our times back. I started playing badly because time was an issue. I started playing badly because I'm bad, but like I was definitely making bad decisions because time was an issue. Another blue-white deck? Wow. There was a lot of reasons to be sandbagging those approaches. As long as we had counter spells in our hand, there was absolutely no reason to cast another approach. I'm confident about that. Yeah, I don't mind these matches. I typically beat these pretty easily, but there is lag when you play Modo, especially when you're streaming, so like it's actually very hard to win while streaming these mirror matches if you actually talk about your plays. But Drakehaven's a horrible match for you. It's just horrible. It looks like we're versus Drakehaven again. Yeah, that's disappointing. So we have an infinite amount of dead cards in our hand for game 1. It's like we basically already have 3 dead cards in our hand. Not really sure what we're supposed to do when we have that many dead cards. And he just has a second counter, second Drakehaven. Yeah, we're very likely to lose this game unless he just has like no counter spells or something. So pretty much our only chance here. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and Glimmer main phase. I might hit a search for Azcanta, and I would play it if I did. Didn't hit one, so. There's some chance he doesn't have a counter spell. Seems like it's pretty low. Second Drakehaven, alright. Well, that gives me some hope. It's kind of redundant, it doesn't really do much. Oh, he doesn't have anything else to cycle? That is horrible for me. I think I would rather just play that. Feels like it's better than searching this spot. Probably should have cast a Torrential Gearhulk during his upkeep, though. I think that was a play mistake by me. So we know it's 6 cards down right now. So we know it's 2 cards down. So we definitely draw it next turn. Yeah. Could wait for a counter spell. Oh, now we have just double approach, so that makes things much simpler. So if he doesn't have countervailing winds, we win. If he does, not great. Well, the big part about streaming in MTGO is, like, you guys don't see it on your end, but my entire client lags a little when I'm playing MTGO like this. Like, the entire thing's just lagging a little for me. So we get an untapped land, we win. Because he's only got 1 card in hand. And we have a counterspell. If that does happen to be a counterspell, we have a counterspell. You guys don't see the lag on my end. And then, like, the chatting and stuff like that. I think I'm going to sideboard roughly the same way I did. I want to ban you so bad. I want to ban you so very bad. I won't, but I want to. We'll take out all the Essence Scatters again. I kind of want to try to keep the Censors this game. I feel like we've ran out of, like, finding the cards we wanted most games. I think that's been one of the problems, so I'm going to leave 3 Censors in this time. And try this. I'm just going to keep trying different sideboard plans. Maybe at some point we'll find one that we like. Easily keeping this hand. It's actually not very good because I don't think Fumigates are good in this match whatsoever. But I'm never going to get rid of a hand that's got a potential turn 2 search for Azcanta. I could have 6 lands and 1 search and I'd keep it. Or sorry, yeah, 6 lands and 1 search. Jason, I actually kind of feel like there's a good chance that we do want the 4th search for Azcanta now, or sorry, the 4th approach now. We were not playing the 4th approach because the red deck matches were so popular and the teamer matches were so popular, and it's just not something that you need to draw 2 up versus either of them, really. I didn't play a search for Azcanta on 2 because I didn't want it to get centered and he'll just play a 3-drop. If he's got countervailing winds to counter it or he uses a negate on it, that's something entirely different, but I'm probably just going to wait. And, I should have played my Rivulet. I'm an idiot. I clicked the wrong ones, just not paying attention. Should have played Rivulet there, but long story short, I'm waiting until I can cast Negate plus Disallow. This shouldn't matter because the odds of me wanting to disallow anything on this turn are absurdly low. I'm glad we played around the sensor because we now see that he did in fact have the sensor. Looks like he's in the process of potentially missing a land drop too, which is pretty big for us. He hit it. Alright, but yeah, that was a pretty big play mistake. I don't know how big it was. Like I said, the odds of me using the disallow were pretty low, but so if he uses either Cast Out or Binding, or if he has anything this turn, we really want it to be Cast Out. Because Cast Out's the first card we always want to Binding. That Cast Out's always the first card we want to Binding. It's got his own. But we're ahead in lands, so I think that's okay. Yeah, since we're not ahead in lands, he's not technically missed a land yet. I'm gonna save this. Trying to decide whether I'm going to cast Glimmer, and I think I'm going to. I think hitting our land drop's important enough to cast Glimmer now. Actually kind of want both of those too, but I really want the land drop, so I'm not sure what to do here. I'm just not willing to get rid of this negate. Alright, well we got there land-wise, so I guess it worked out. I really wanted both of those cards. Now we have a Field of Runes, so we don't even worry too much about that Azcanta. He chose to flip it anyway. Facing the Field of Rune. Oh, it's because he's got his own Field of Rune. Ha! Cute! Cute, I say. We'll go ahead and cast that out. Or, sorry, we'll go ahead and negate that. He may not have another counterspell right now, and even if he does have a counterspell, that means he's practically going to be tapped out, and we will likely get the binding on it. Approach of the Second Sun's in my graveyard. I actually need a land badly enough that I think I'm going to. So now he's got 3 cast outs and potentially some of that other card for us to worry about. I forget what that other card's called right now. Forsake the Worldly, maybe? Another search for Azcanta. As good as that is, I don't think we can try to counterspell that one. I don't think so with a disallow. Again, all he has to do is play our Abandoned Sarcophagus and we lose. Like, The Azcanta's less... Him drawing one random card's less of a threat than him like just playing our Abandoned Sarcophagus and we practically lose. That's what I'm considering right now, even. I don't know if this is even worth disallowing for. I think I'm going to, mainly because it lets me flip my search for Azcanta, but I don't know if it's right to. I don't know if it's right to do that. Because again, I put myself back in the same spot that where if he has any of those powerful effects, like we're just really far behind. See? Now we're just super far behind again. Island in the Graveyard, 100%. Flip, 100%. I probably shouldn't have did it. I knew that there was a risk of doing it, and now he's got a cast out, so like the game's just kind of over. There's not a lot we can do now. I should have held my counterspell. I knew to hold my counterspell. I am so bad. That's how easy it is to win this game. You just have to have Abandoned Sarcophagus in your top 20-ish or so. And resolve it. And there's nothing your opponent can do. And now he gets everything back. The positive note is there's no more bindings in our deck at least, so... It's actually good for me. So, unless that card is negate now, we at least are drawing to a cast out. Guess we'll take the Glimmer. Well, we hit a cast out. That's step one. So to take his binding, to get our binding back, to take his cast out, to take his Abandoned Sarcophagus. Because I think Sarcophagus is more important than Drakehaven in this spot. Actually, just going to keep both of these as well. So we have another cast out if this stuff happens again, or we have a cast out for just that Drakehaven. And if he draws like another binding or whatever to go after our cast out, at least we can cycle it. So I have enough mana to actually play a Gearhulk and a cast out this turn. Actually may save this Gearhulk now to try to get back our negate in case he does hit something. I feel like we're in pretty good shape. We have 2 bindings and 2 cast outs on the table. There's only one more in our deck. I guess he can have that card, even though it sucks for me. chance. Do you play these matches in paper? Hey, there's our last cast out. Now that we've drawn our last cast out, I'm going to be a lot more free about casting this Gear Hulk. But he's cycling a cast out? Oh, it's because we have a binding on this cast out. Okay, sure. For some reason, I saw this cast out on a binding and I forgot whose was whose for a second. Alright, draw more cards, make me sad. He's up to 5 cards again. Alright, I'm just gonna cast Gear Hulk now. You could have another, you could have another binding or, like, forsake the, worldly or whatever. Or this could just kill us in 8 turns. Yeah, just Drakehaven. Drakehaven alone is like pretty massive right now. I think it's called Forsake the Worldly. I could be wrong. I am not good with names. I'm not going to get rid of this cast out. Feel like it's too good. He's down to 26 cards too, and we have both of these, so he's down to 18 cards, I guess. We win quicker with Gear Hulk than he wins with his Drake. I have one more cast out and one more Glimmer. Feel like we're in a really good spot this game. Let's start with a counterspell. Oh, I guess we're going to end with a counterspell. Bottom, bottom. Actually, I could have put the opt on top of the amount of mana we have left. It's not past priority for some reason. I could have put that opt on top. No. There's another hard counter. Each hard counter we get, our odds go up. Rocket science. Rocket science. Every time we get a hard counter when we're ahead, it helps us, guys. Yeah, I played last match horrible. Definitely need to focus more. And we were even in life totals for a second. That's fun. We'll cast this thing. Maybe we'll find some negates or something. There's an approach. So we can always go for the approach win at some point too. So much work from our little Gear Hulk friend. So he knows we have nothing at this point. 21 cards, 20 cards, so he's like basically at 12 cards. We have 2 more Rivulets we can find as well. feel like he has to do something now. She's just gonna settle that thing. I'm tired of taking damage. And him getting another land kind of helps us in a way. Sorry, we've only got 3 rivulets in this build. You're right, my bad. My bad, I misspoke. This build only has 3 rivulets. My paper build has 4. You're right, I misspoke. The build I have sleeved in paper has 4. This build has 3. My bad. Good catch. Yeah, well, that resolves. There's nothing we can really do about it. I guess we'll keep our disallow. Let's start with this. We draw these disallows all at the right time. He cycled the countervailing winds. It's kind of interesting. Guess he's afraid of milling out? I'm gonna sideboard out approaches for now on. I just don't cast approaches in this match. This is a comp league, yes, Loco. Loca James. This is a competitive league. I always play approach, or I typically play start. I don't always. It depends on my mood. Let's take another negate. So he's got 3 cards in his hand. We have 2 hard counter spells. I'll probably just cast approach this turn. I think I will. This is Own Gear Hulk. It's got 2 cards in his hand. Alright, so they're done. I guess they only had 1 Gear Hulk left in the deck. Maybe they sideboarded out some Drake Havens. I don't know. I was going to go ahead and cast the approach that turn as well, because we had enough mana to cast the approach while still having the negate up, and if he didn't counterspell there, that means he didn't have a counterspell. If he didn't play a Drake Haven on his turn, he didn't have a Drake Haven, so like, it was absurdly safe to play approach this turn. Alright, 2-1. We got to win 1 out of the next 2 to get them dollars back. It's a pretty long stream tonight if you count our Eternal stream. We're like at 3 hours right now or something. Alright, so we win the dice. We got 2 more friggin' rounds too. Wow. Win the dice roll, we play, we keep. I'm more likely to cycle a cast out on turn 1 than a sensor, so we'll go ahead and play the planes first. I forgot to tell people that the stream was up. My bad. 1 second, let me get over here on Twitter real quick. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be Esper or Abzan. Abzan's the version that I consider better, but like some people play Esper. It really depends on how many Lost Legacies and stuff they play out of the sideboard on how good or bad this match is for us. If they don't have Lost Legacies, it's really hard for us to lose. If they do have Lost Legacies, it's really hard for us to win. Because our sideboard plans don't really beat that stuff. It doesn't matter how long we can extend the game. If they just have Lost Legacy and can play Lost Legacy, you know, hey, super bad. Because our cats can't really beat them. The big problem is our cats just really do not beat them post board. Alright, that card resolves. It's not actually very good versus us. I'll try to play a little bit faster. I know you guys are probably getting bored of this. Hey, tokens decks typically have 4 Fumigates. Does that count as a control deck? Or do they actually have to have a counterspell to be a control deck? I'll keep both of these. Rip. Could have probably cycled a cast out at that point. Could have probably cycled a cast out there where we have a hard counterspell on our hand. Fair enough. Tokens is not one of them. Alright, well, we'll keep our approach. That's basically all we wanted. Alright, now we just basically want to live for a few turns. We've made 0 changes to rivals so far, except we got rid of the Gideons, and we brought in a... Shoot. Don't know what I'm trying to say here. We brought in a 4th Disallow over to Gideon. We've added no rivals cards to the deck. Is it bad that I kind of want to just cast Settled Wreckage? Nah, I don't need to. I want to, but I don't need to. Don't really need either of these cards. We got double Settled Wreckage already. Apparently Moto wants me to take this card because I clicked on the bottom twice and lag was still just not putting it on the bottom. Alright. I guess I'll cast Settle this turn and let him resolve just whatever he wants to resolve. We'll keep all our Settles. He could resolve a Vraska here, but I don't care that much because we have a cast out and a hard counterspell. I've not. I slept almost a whole day. I'm kind of sick. Hey, it's Vraska. Oh, hello, Vraska. How are you today? It's Vraska. Don't care about Vraska at all. We'll go ahead and just cast out it on the following turn. If we draw Approach, we just win. He still has to get through 2 Settled Wreckages. The Field of Runes kind of sucks because it means he can shuffle our Approach away, but it's not that bad for us. Sure. Can always disallow the Field of Rune trigger. No, it's 6 cards? Do I care enough to disallow the trigger? Could just use it on myself, right? Like, I don't shuffle my library if I use it, do I? Whatever. So we just counterspell it. So we know it's 2 cards down now. So basically we settle the wreckage and stop the attack and then cycle the cast out and win. Unless he has another or something. If he's got another, this is kind of dangerous. You just disallow the Vraska trigger as well if we want. Yeah, that's probably even safer. Just disallow the Vraska. Alright, well, I don't think he can make a shuffle. Take a pretty big hit. Cycle cast out, draw approach, win. So it'll be our draw step for the turn. Like, game 1's comically easy. They're honestly like 25% game 1. It's one of the most favorable matches in the entire format. Game 2 and 3, again, depends on like how many Argyle's Bloodfast, how many Duresses, how many Lost Legacies, things like that that they play. The newest 5.0 token. Let's take a look at it. Let's just look at it for the whole chat here. Ooh, a Johnny. A Johnny's kind of cool. So that's not the build our opponent's playing, because this build does not have any Vraska. Why does it not have Vraska? Huh. Like, Vraska's so good in those decks. Johnny is sweet, but I mean, it's not Vraska. Alright, so in these matches, I typically like to bring in all of these. I typically like to bring in all of these. And I typically like to bring in this. It's easy to stop them from doing their tokeny stuff at any relevant speed. But again, it's almost impossible to beat Lost Legacy in a match like this. There's an argument that I can bring the cats in even. I think I'm actually going to bring the cats in. I feel like I want to bring the cats in as well. Because like, there's a good chance that we're going to have to like do something like that post-board. Censor versus Opt. This is a match where I think we actually can censor things later in the game. So I guess we'll dump the Ops. I don't think the Settles and the Fumigates are super good. I think you only want to draw 1 or 2 in an entire match. But you do want some. Alright, we'll try this. I guess I should have told Corey. I was just talking to Corey. I probably should have told him that I'm paired versus tokens right now. He is not using the card we were discussing, Corey. He is using Vraska. Well, I guess he could have the card that you're using as well. Huh. Sounds pretty weak, but I believe it's still a keep. I think the fact that they have so many discard spells is what makes this a keep. It's kind of resilient to discard. There's a good chance that when I drew the island that I should have cycled the Prairie Stream. Argyle's Bloodfast. Alright, so there's one of the cards that we just mentioned being problematic. There's one of the cards that we just mentioned that can be very, very problematic. And that's one of the reasons we kept this hand. If we mulligan to like 6 or possibly even 5 and get a hand with one good spell, the Duresses can really crush that spell. And he's got a hidden stockpile already. Yeah, we're not in good shape this game. Like, the post-board games are very hard. My friend Ricky doesn't believe me when I say that, but that's because he didn't play enough. He was just on the right side of variance the few games he did play. Do have double cat here though, so you know, depending on how good his hand is, the double cat can get somewhere. Especially if he's going to potentially kill himself with the Argyle. Hey, sweet Matt, what's up, man? Hope you're having a good evening. That's a card I would definitely like to have a chance to test. Logo Dope, and whenever I finally get to the point, let's go keep both of these. Whenever I get to the point where I decide how many of the deal 2, gain 2 black spell that I want in my deck, I'll probably try Esper at that point. I think I'm fine with him just drawing a bunch more cards. Maybe I shouldn't have kept the Search for Azcanta considering he already has a Field of Runes, but alright, he can have that. Never counterspelling that to save that in a spot like this, because he can just untap and play Vraska. It's just a name from a video game that I liked a whole lot when I was young. Tactics Ogre is the name of the game. It's a pretty fun game, but it doesn't really stand for anything. It's just a game. Alright, so I kept this Censor because there was a chance that he was going to play Vraska this turn, but since we now know that he's not, we can definitely get rid of it. Yeah. Just going to untap, hold up Disallow, and then play an Approach. He doesn't draw a Lost Legacy before we get to our Approach. We can always just win. Like, it requires them to draw the Lost Legacies, which is why if Approach is heavy in your deck, you shouldn't play 1 or 2, you should play the full 4. You should literally play the full 4. Anointed Procession sucks for us, but it has to resolve. Like I said, we're in pretty bad shape this game, but who knows? Doesn't have Lost Legacy, so we can always just draw the second Approach and win. There's nothing he can do about it if he doesn't have it. Super glad we didn't play the Regal Caracol the turn we had and that we saved the Disallow so we could at least get the Approach on the table. Like, that worked out really well. Pretty happy about that. Also, the Regal Caracols aren't great because, like, they can just Vraska and kill the front end of it, and then the back end of it's really bad. Alright, we'll keep a counter on where our card is. So we know it's 7 down at the moment. So he doesn't have it yet because he scried during his draw step. He put on bottom, so there's just no chance that he had it. Alright, so that's a good one. Go ahead and play this. We probably could at some point. You gotta keep in mind that this is my baby, so. Could have not played the cat there. He's probably... Oh, wow. That's kind of interesting. So... That's pretty good for us. I mean, they can still beat it. The problem is really their lost legacies, right? Once they've lost legacy to approach, they have all the time in the world to beat things. It's kind of an interesting spot. We can rivulet ourselves, and if we draw any cycling card, we draw approach on the following turn. I think that's worth it. Because we can still play our cat. It kind of sucks in the manner that he gets to untap and do that if we don't. So we at least get to put the approach in our hand. And we at least get to put approach in our hand. And hope that he doesn't draw another duress. Well, that one's definitely going on top. I'm not so sure about the Fumigate. I just don't think I want the Fumigate there. I think we want to try to find a negate. We did not find a negate, so basically we just have to fade one turn really hard. I don't think pirates are going to do much. I do think merfolk have a good chance to. So basically, he needs to find a lost legacy or a duress this turn, or he's just dead. But, you know, he's got an ample amount of card search, so it's pretty easy for him to do, really. Like, he can look at 2 more cards this turn, and then he can draw cards on top of that. If it's just duress, we still always have the out of drawing it, though. He put that one on top, so that one's out of duress or lost legacy, 100%. Alright, so it's duress, so at least it's the better one for us. I mean, I don't know which one wins the heads up. I know that merfolk is super fast, super good, and gets to play Spell Pierce, and I think Spell Pierce will be super relevant. I didn't even realize they had the second Anointed Procession. For some reason, I didn't see that until now. Alright, so we're in bad shape, obviously, but... They do, but they're not as aggressive. So basically we have to find another approach before they end the game, and they end the game in just a few turns. He's basically searching super hard for something, which makes me think he just has Lost Legacy in his deck. Yep, he definitely has Lost Legacy in his deck now. We know that for sure, so we have to do our play patterns around it. We only have one approach left in our deck, so we've got like a 1 in 35 chance to win. We did put some cards on the bottom with Glimmers, though. Just, you can see how easily these cats just do not win this match. They just don't do anything this match. And that's the big problem with the post-board plan. Most decks you can win with the cats and the Geralts and stuff post-board. This just doesn't happen to be one of them. Yeah, they're holding down the fort, but they just give us extra turns. They don't actually do a lot. Now he fumigates, and 2-turn clock, and we're dead. So 2-turn clock and we're dead, so I'm just going to go ahead and cast out and see if we can hit an approach. Hour Revelations is an option, but Hours of Revelation still just doesn't let you win. Assume we had Hours of Revelation and we cleared the entire board right now. Like, the Fumigate still puts us back to 0, and if he resolves the Lost Legacy, the game's still over. It just gives you more time, but more time doesn't matter if the approach isn't in your deck. Anyway, we get one more draw step to try to win. So he kept a card, so that means it's Lost Legacy. He wouldn't keep any card that wasn't Lost Legacy here. So basically we get one last draw step, and anything that we get that can cycle gives us a redraw. We could also draw like a Fumigate and potentially get another draw step. Fumigate or Lost Legacy, negate, we just lose. Easy breezy, you just can't. This deck's just so bad post-board. I think we're going to bring in the other approach back in for game 3 because we're on the play now. These cats really just didn't do anything, did they? These cats only beat bad draws. The Censor is a little bit better on the draw. I think these cats just beat bad draws. Yeah, the cats are terrible. It's just, it's one of the easiest ways to clean, or it's one of the easiest ways for us to close out a game if they don't have all of their stuff going. And in theory, between our 11 counter spells and our 5 enchantments, we can hopefully stop them from getting their stuff going. That's the prayer. Thinking about just taking all the Fumigates out. I'm really thinking about bringing in an opt. Because there is the games where they just get bad draws, right? I'm really thinking about just bringing in the 3 opts. I'll be safe and keep 2 Fumigates, I guess. I don't like the cats in this matchup either. I feel like it's just I have nothing else. I don't have Scarab or anything. Could be. If Tokens is a popular match, we definitely have to do something. I don't know what that something is yet, but we 100% have to do something if this is a very popular match. They do have to have a lot of pieces come together, though, and we have a lot of disruption, so sometimes they just don't have their stuff. Kind of took a gamble there. I probably should have cycled the Censor. GFG is a lot easier to beat if they're not playing the black build. Because if they're not playing the black build, you don't have to worry about Lost Legacy. Like, you beat the blue-white build very easy. You struggle with the blue-white, or you struggle with the blue, shoot, what am I trying to say? You struggle to beat the blue-black Lost Legacy builds. You beat the blue-white builds kind of easily. Alright, well, we get to counterspell anything relevant for a while, but, Lost Legacy still just beats us at some point. I am tempted to disallow that. I guess I won't, but I'm super tempted to. I don't think Hostage Taker's very good. I think that's one of the most overrated cards I've heard of in months. I don't think Hostage Shaker is good. I think Chupacabra is overrated as well. Though I do think Chupacabra gets a lot better now that Energy's banned. So we're in a bad spot. I'm actually willing to disallow this one to keep our approach. I didn't disallow the last one because it was too easy for him to resolve the spell afterwards. I don't think that that decks aren't going to just still be removal heavy though. I feel like there's just going to be like a Grixis deck and stuff that's super removal heavy, that's super popular. Yeah. Well, opponent has managed to find a way to get all of our things. We'll go ahead and play this before he can flip that, because that represents 3 cards. And now if he casts Lost Legacy, we're in pretty bad shape. If he casts about anything, we're in pretty bad shape right now. The cool thing about this is, like, you know, like, he's not got anything out. Like, maybe we could just draw a cat and win the game from here. And we get to draw 2 cards. We get to 1 for the Lost Legacy, 1 for our draw step. So, like, there is some chance that we could just draw a cat and run away with the game. Especially if his hand isn't particularly good. Huh. I think I want to hold the Censor. Think it's actually usable. That's okay. That's okay. You only got 1 card in hand, so. Gate. We'll definitely cycle a Censor Ven. There's the cat, but we can't play it this turn because he could just have Vraska and win. Actually have to counterspell that, don't we? Yeah, we have to counterspell that. That's just way too many cards. Problem is now his stockpile wins just the same. I think we still have to play around Vraska. Just gonna pass here. Who's Logan? A Rivulet. Alright, well. Not in good shape. Yeah, there's the Vraska. He played around the Censor. He didn't have to draw to land though, so I liked holding the Censor. That was a great draw. That was actually a great draw. Now you can double block the 1, but the Vraska still takes about 1,000,000. Kind of bad shape now, though. Especially if he's got anything good. May not have anything good, though. He also could just have another Vraska. One source of what? I don't know what you're saying when you say one source. One green source? Yeah, but we can't kill the green source of this. We can only target non-basic lands of this, if that's what you were implying. I'm not sure that's what you were implying, but if that is what you're implying, we can't target the forest with it. Alright, so we kind of stepped a little bit ahead right now. We have to counterspell that. That's too powerful. Not happy about it, but have to. Oh, that Gearhulk was great. We might be able to steal this game. Like, this is a pretty quick clock. We have another hard counterspell, this one that can't be duressed. I'm actually going to save it as a hard counterspell as well. I'm not just going to play it and attack. I really want the counterspell clause out of it. Because this ends the game pretty quickly. Cast out. I have to counterspell that, don't I? And just hope he bricks one turn. Think we have to counterspell that and hope he bricks one turn. Feel like he would have cast Fumigate if it was already in his hand. Think I have to counterspell it. I'm just going to use a negate. So this puts him dead on board next turn if he has nothing. He could have a lot of things though. Hidden stockpiles are bad draws now, so like he has a lot of bad draws. Alright. We snuck by. Sorry for not saying this, but thank you to 20XX Ginger. Appreciate the follow from about 10 minutes ago. I think I'm supposed to use that counterspell there. Just feel like it's too easy for us to lose the game if I don't. Alright, will we get the 4-1 or are we going to be stuck at the pity chest? For those of you who don't know, I stream every single day. Almost all of my streams are standard. If you like what you're watching, please throw us a follow button. We really, really like being followed. It makes us smile and feel great about ourselves. And if you truly like what you're watching, you can follow the links below the stream to both my Twitter, where you can see every time we go live, all the deck lists we play, providing I'm not too stupid to remember to update it, and our YouTube. And on our YouTube, you can find almost all of our past broadcasts. If you're already watching from the YouTube, you can look in the description to find a link to the Twitter, the Twitch, or the deck list we're playing for that day. And there'll be a new YouTube video going up about 30-ish minutes after we get offline. And to be honest, I forget what it is. Let me double check. I don't remember what I recorded yesterday. I apologize if you hear some background noise real quick. Alright. I think I got it away before the background noise popped up. Black White Vampires is what will be going up. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to play. I considered Baffling End before they banned Rampaging Feroctodon, but now that they've banned Rampaging Feroctodon, I don't think I want it. The only cards that I think, what am I trying to say? The only cards that I think are worse. The only cards that I'm bad at speaking. I'm trying to figure out how to word what I'm trying to say. I think the only cards that make, shoot. I'm having a stroke over here. I apologize, Texas Horror. As for our baffling end, I think Authority of the Meltdown's better versus the majority of the format. The only cards that I think Effort Meltdown isn't better versus is basically Rampaging Ferocitodon, which has been now banned, and Glint Siphoner. Alright, we'll play first. So basically Glint Siphoner is the only thing that I don't think Effort Meltdown is just better versus. And I'm already not maxed out on Effort Meltdowns, so if I'm not maxing out on Effort Meltdowns, I can't imagine that I want a Baffling. So I dislike Baffling for multiple reasons. One, I think Meltdown does everything the same, like it prevents the damage, it does all that. It's obviously worse versus Beaumont Courier as well. But... And it's worse because they can get a land from the settle or whatever, but like, you can also, you know, use it on a Torrential Gearhulk if you need to. You can use it on a Glorybringer if you need to. Things that you can't use on the Baffling end. And a lot of the, like the green-white aggro deck, for example, right? Like the green-white aggro deck's going to sideboard in, they're going to sideboard in things like enchantment removal. And I would rather them just kill a Meltdown and get like back one of their medium cards than get like a brand new 3/3 out of it. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like Beaumont and Glint Courier are the only two cards that I think it's better versus. As for Slaughter the Strong, I am pretty hesitant on playing it. I think it's worse than Settle, which is a card I already consider bad and play more out of a necessity than thinking it's good. And I already don't play 4 Fumigates, so I can't imagine wanting Slaughter the Strong, especially now that there's going to be less Bristling Hydras in the format and things of that nature. But I could be wrong. 2 the Strong could be played. I've heard some people, Azure the Lawbringer or whatever, suggest that card, but I feel like that card's win more. I feel like you pretty much just win those games anyway. Alright, so opponent had basically the best card versus us in his deck. And he had 2 of them. So that's disappointing. So we got paired versus 2 of these decks today. I think I'm actually going to keep this card for at least a turn because we're going to try to settle next turn. And if the settle resolves, it gives him a turn to play a Chandra or something, and then we'd want an answer for it. If the settle doesn't resolve, we're already in really bad trouble. Some chance that he only attacks with 1, which would be bad for us as well. Giving him lands is bad for us. Basically, turn 2 Glint's bad for us. So he's only going to attack with 1. If he only attacks with 1, I'm willing to take it and just cast out at the end of his turn. Dallas next weekend, was just wondering. But also, I think it's reasonable that we might be wanting to go to Esper now. It's really hard to tune a control deck before you see how the meta is going to flesh out. Which is why in week 1, control decks are generally notoriously bad and aggro decks are typically better than usual. It's like really hard to tune a deck for week 1. I'm just willing to cast out here. He's only attacking with 1 thing. This feels like it's better. No, so I guess he's going to get himself another card. I kind of still need these lands even though I don't want them. It's pretty important that we just draw lands at this point. If he doesn't have counterspells in the main deck, we outrace anything he's going to do on the ground. If he does have counterspells in the main deck, we have a bit more of an issue. Especially when he gets ready to draw yet another card. Our kingdom for him just to slam a land and a Glorybringer, we dance like there's no tomorrow. We would definitely dance like there's no tomorrow. I feel like the majority of these decks do run Counterspell's main deck now, though. Typically at least have Supreme Will. Oh, that's a good one. I love that card. It's another card that I think makes After Meltdowns a little bit better. Will I put the Cast Out in my graveyard? No, I guess we'll keep that. I think Rekindling Phoenix is actually really good. Only a few times I've had Search Out and not really gotten any value out of it. Nicol Bolas would be insane here. Glorybringer, not that good for him. Alright, so we got 2 chances to get an untapped land and just slam the first approach. Looks like the first approach will definitely resolve. We will not put that in our graveyard. We will draw it. So these matches are a lot harder post-board because of the additional counter spells and the ability of them getting Lost Legacy. We've not won this game, of course. Like, he could just have counter spells main deck, but I'm just saying in general, main deck's a lot easier. Thank you very much for the follows. X-Azor and Spooky. Appreciate it. Wouldn't mind him tapping out right now. Would feel pretty nice if he just like tapped out and played Nicol Bolas and didn't go after our hand for some random reason. Obviously him going after our hand would be terrible. So it's Scarab. Oh, and he's tapping out, so we win. Having the approach is nice. Sure, Rivulet can go to the graveyard, I don't care. I'm just trying to get to my main phase and not slow roll this. But sometimes you have to draw them both. But it's always the cool thing about the approach deck. You always have the ability to draw both. Alright, so winning game 1's really nice. But if there's gonna be a lot more Grixis mid-range and stuff like that, then Baffling End's a card that we're definitely gonna have to consider because Glint Siphoner is very, very bad for us. Like, Glint Siphoner is very, very good. Alright, so versus these matches, I always like to bring these in. I immediately take out the Torrential Gearhulk. I take it out versus any deck that has Scarab God. I always bring in this, and I bring in almost all of these. I take out the After Meltdowns because, again, they're not really that good versus Glint, and they're not specifically that great versus his deck in general. We are generally fighting on some kind of different access. We usually take out the Ops and one of the Sensors as well. Basically, we start on turn 2 and hope that he doesn't have a lot of counterspells. His cards feel less impactful than ours. This hand's pretty good. It's obviously bad versus Glint Siphoner, but like I said, our deck in general is weak to Glint Siphoner. And, you know, going to Esper helps fix that problem. So we may definitely just be going to Esper in the future. It's kind of hard for me to fix the Esper version on the time frame that I have, though. He put on top, so that's typically a bad sign. Especially if it's just turn 2 Glint. By the way, okay, it wasn't turn 2 Glint, which is great. Yeah, so he's down to 4 cards, and we don't care about his life or anything. He kept a card on top of his library, and then he played the Effort Hub on 2. Just odd. Why does that strike me as so odd? What other card would you put on top of your library that's not a land? Would you put like a second Effort Hub on top of your library? Would you put a Lost Legacy on top of your library? What would you put on top of your library there? Doesn't matter if we don't draw lands, does it? Think I'm gonna get rid of the Fumigate? There's 4 cards in this hand, and we have a bunch of counter spells. I also need a bunch of lands. Another non-land. So this game, basically everything was going right for us, and then we just didn't hit lands. This is kind of the opening hand you want. Opponent obviously had a very bad draw. Down to 3 cards. Good chance one of them's a random removal spell. There's a good chance one of them's super powerful. Good chance one's a counter spell as well. We have to try to Essence Scatter it at least. Feel like he would have protected that if he had a way to protect it, so maybe he doesn't have a way to protect it. Can cast no spells. Not a good sign. I'd like to see a little bit more about how he sideboards before this is over. Oh, that's not good. That pretty well beats us. You have to hit like runner and get by here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. We're not dead on board. We died to a Glorybringer, but we wasn't really going to beat the Scarab. Alright, so we just died to the Glorybringer. I think we were a pretty large favorite that game, but... Meh. I don't think I changed anything from the play to this draw here. The Censor gets a little bit better on the play, actually. I think the Fumigate probably gets a little worse. We typically only want to draw one of these spells, but because of there being discards and spells in their deck, we're going to keep multiple as an option. Alright, this is a keep. It's something that can stop a turn 2 Glint. It's a pretty weak hand overall. Obviously we have no white mana. We have no card filtering or whatever, but it is good enough to keep. Let's turn 1 Duress into the other card. We probably have very little chance. We have 2 Essence Scatters, 4 Censors, and 4 Search for Azcanta as good draws, though. Take the Disallow over the Essence Scatter. That's odd to me. Find that incredibly awkward. Guess he's got a Chandra or something? Or maybe he's just got a second discard spell and doesn't care? Probably gonna cycle that for white mana at some point. Let's see him play a blue mana before we use the Fielder Runes. I feel like I have to counterspell that still. That giving him a land's too powerful. We're currently 3-1, and I think we're 1-1. Yeah, we're 1-1 in this round. So that is a Chandra, as expected. Like I said, it's pretty bad for us, but it's not the end of the world. Go ahead and grab our white mana so we can cast a cast out. She knows we have a cast out, so we have to find lands, approaches, and things now. Just in case we want to cycle to cast out in response to a duress or something, but... It's 4 cards in hand, so... Like, he's definitely looking pretty good here. Willer Virtuoso is a good spell. We'll just go ahead and cast Fumigate into that one. Don't want to use Settle right now. Oh, well, we found our approach, so... Have a cast out for a Scarab. Her Kindling Phoenix is pretty nice. Just want to draw lands. That is not a land. Because we're going to try to settle this. He'll probably have a removal spell or some other counter spell or some other just large threat, but... Giving him a land right here sucks as well. There's another Chandra. Our Kingdom for a land right now. Oh, not, okay. That could have been worse. Kingdom for a land. He's down to 2 cards and we have an Essence Scatter for the first big threat, but we're certainly behind the 8-ball here, and the second we draw the 7th mana, we basically have to cast our approach, which gives him a 3-turn to cast anything. And he could just have more powerful Planeswalkers. Like, we're not in good shape at all. We have chances, but we're not in good shape. We have to Essence Scatter it, I think. Black. Starts off with black. Okay. Wasn't... Like, the black scared me because I was thinking, you know... Obviously, you guys know what was going through my mind. I was thinking Lost Legacy. And almost ready to pick up your cards. Game could go either way at this point. I feel like he has more powerful draw steps, but we're just looking for a land to start things. And any non-land that we get is basically a counterspell or a removal spell, so it gives us extra turns. If we can get through one more turn without him doing anything super impactful, I think I really like our odds. Obviously, if he just has Lost Legacy, we're close to dead on board as we have no alternate win conditions other than our 3 Rivulets. 6 cards down after our draw step. This is what makes Lost Legacy so good, by the way. You can just play it post them casting their spell. So we know it's 6 cards down now. So we know we draw it next turn and can cast it next turn. So basically we just have to get out of this turn alive and he'll not have a counterspell. Which he's not played a counterspell up until this point, so the odds of him not having a counterspell, okay. So he knows we have it and he knows the odds are we're going to go for it, and he just scoops and we get a nice little 4-1. Well, it's kind of an interesting league. We played versus an Abzan Tokens list, which we expected to crush us, and it did crush us. We played versus Or sorry, no, we beat Dabs and Tokens list because he got very unlucky in the game 3. We played versus 2 Grixis mid-range lists. They were actually very different. One looked like it was a little more black-based, a little more counterspell-based, like it was more of a control deck. And the other one was just like the pure mid-range deck but they both were like running glints and stuff. So, we didn't have too much of a trouble with either of them, but neither of them cast Lost Legacy, which if Approach is going to be a popular deck, Lost Legacy is going to be more and more popular. And we played versus 2 pretty hard games versus Drakes, which I don't think I played either game well, and I think I can definitely improve in that match as a player. But I don't think we're particularly favored to beat that match either way. Thank you, Heath. But overall, appreciate you stopping by and keeping us company. But overall, we like the deck. Right off the top, I don't think there's anything I would change for tomorrow. I think I would run the same 75 back tomorrow. I don't think the 5 games we got paired versus lets us know that that's like specifically what the meta is or anything. So that's why I think I would run it back at least another tournament. I may play it off stream, I'm not actually sure, but that's 4 hours for me tonight. So we're going to hop off here and we're going to host Z Magic. And Zane has been playing a really cool blue-black GFG or GPG deck. GPG. And it looks pretty interesting, and he's been having good results with it. So take care, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. And make sure to follow and to click the links below the stream. And follow there as well if you care at all. Again, we're trying to do the 365-day stream challenge. And so far we're doing pretty good. We've not missed a day since July 9th. So you can expect me to be back tomorrow. Take care, everybody. And appreciate you all for stopping by.